Hello friends, in this part we want to continue from the previous tutorials and bring this scene closer to this bright cyberpunk style look. We also want to address one of Unreal Engine most important issues, texture pool size and texture optimization. To view the texture pool size statistics, type stat streaming and press enter. As you can see, our streaming pool size is 1000 MB, and even though we haven't added anything yet, 461 MB is already being used, which is not good at all. To see which texture are taking up the most space, go to the Tools menu and select Audit. After that, select Statics. As you can see, in the statics, the textures are sorted from top to bottom based on their size, from largest to smallest, and we need to do something about them. For example, the first textures belong to the damaged asphalt mesh on the ground. It is 90 MB in size, and as you can see, around 40 MB of our pool size is being used by it. So we open the texture, go to its setting, search for texture size and set it to 1024. This reduces its size from 43 MB to around 680 kilobytes. Do the same for the rest of texture. Just keep it in mind that if a mesh is going to be directly in front of the camera or closely interact with the character, try not to reduce the texture size too much, so the scene quality doesn't drop. Another method is that you can select multiple textures at once and reduce their size using Reduce Size option. Now, if you run stat streaming, you'll see that our usage has significantly decreased and is now using roughly 10% of the total pool. Alright guys, now that the scene is lighter, we are going to complete the shop at the end of the alley. Now I'm going to add this fast food shop set. Also, my goal is to optimize its texture so they don't take up too much space of our pool size. I export the larger meshes to place them in our shop, refine them in Rhizome UV, and then I'm going to show you a method that is useful for scenes like games and cinema. After fixing the unwrap, what matters most are the larger parts and ones that require more details for the camera or the character. And for the sake of optimizing, I want to keep all the parts within a single tile. We could also do this using multiple tiles, but naturally that would increase both the number of the textures and their size. So I scale up the parts that are in front and more visible to achieve better textile density. Then in the end, I pack them and create a simple material for them in Substance Painter. For packing, I use Pack Translate to preserve the scaled size. As you can see, in the Substance Painter, I assign a simple steel material to the metal parts and a simple plastic material to plastic parts using smart materials. When exporting, make sure the texture size does not exceed 2K. Also, in the export settings, instead of exporting everything as PNG, you can export only the normal map as PNG and assign it to your meshes. Now we have a few meshes ready that we can import into Unreal with minimal texture size and use them. In this tutorial, I show you the layout and placement parts at higher speed so it doesn't take too much of our time. As you can see, our wanted MIPS usage has not increased, it's actually decreased. Now it's using about 85 megabytes. Alright guys, the rest of the tutorial is mostly in time-lapse. I just be importing assets, placing them in the scene and controlling their texture size so they don't take up too much space until we complete our scene. I've also prepared a free asset pack for you, which you can download at no cost. The full set will be linked in our channel, and by joining, you'll be able to download more of these models and use them in your project. I designed these meshes in the past, and their textures were not optimized. You can compare the texture size of these files with the texture from our fast food shop set. So whenever you use this set, make sure to open the texture and optimize them. If the video has been helpful so far, please support us by liking, commenting and subscribing to the channel. For the interior of the shop, I download a ceramic texture from Quixel and apply it to the walls. Just make sure the UVs are correct and the tiles are properly aligned next to each other, so the result looks more natural. For the shop counter, I first duplicate the top surface. Then I extrude it. After that, I split it so the parts are separated. Since I want to have two different materials on the counter. To break the uniform look of the counter material, I use different decals and place them on the surface. For the buildings at the back of the alley, I download some large buildings assets from fab markets and add them to our project. For creating fog and giving a sense of distance to the buildings, I use local fog, scale it up, and adjust its parameters to achieve the desired result. To add a subtle cinematic fog across the entire scene, I use exponential height fog and adjust its parameters to achieve the desired result. Also, to make the scene more realistic and add details, we use trash, either as decal or mesh, to break up imperfection and avoid a flat look. We can also make the scene more natural and realistic by adjusting the puddle setting in the ground material, such as changing the color, reflection, depth, and level of the detail. Finally, we can add smaller derbies either manually or as foliage. The setup is complete. In the next part, we'll add animations to our scene, either in the form of hard surface elements or a metahuman character. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please support the channel by liking, subscribing and sharing.